Hello everyone, Nova here with another speed paint and commentary. This is my redesign video for an AU I came up with back in October of 2021. And I do use the word redesign. I do want to state for most of them, they're more like design tweaks, just some stylistic choices that I wish had been done, stuff like that, but I would say only one of them I would consider a redesign. But for some context for the AU, I'm going to give some bare bones context for it because I actually want to create a more in-depth video, so I don't want to kind of spoil it too much. But it takes place in a world where Celestia actually made Sunset Shimmer into an alicorn, albeit it was out of desperation. I am going to get that video for the Age of Queen Solaria. I actually do have a fan fiction up called Day and Night Regained Again, which you can check out on FimFiction and Archive of Our Own. So, with that being said, for now this is just the backstories and some of the redesign thought process of Rarity, Fluttershy, and Pinkie Pie. Another detail I want to touch on is I have incorporated the Rainbow Power main colors and Rainbow Power itself into all their designs. So first we're going to start with Rarity. Rarity is my favorite redesign of the main 6 by far. She's actually the only one I'd say is like a redesign. I've also added for comparison for some of them what their initial redesigns were, because I had them all redesigned way back a couple years ago. Her backstory is very, very different compared to canon. She and Sweetie Belle are actually both runaways from Unicornia. You may recognize the name from other generations. It's not an original name by any means. I think I first heard of it in The Runaway Rainbow. I'm 95% sure about that. Rarity's home life was actually quite brutal growing up, full of cruelty and hate. She's actually nobility in this alternate universe, so she had very little freedoms compared to what she had in canon and what she has at this point in time in the AU. When Sweetie was just a few years old, and this is a little dark here, Rarity had heard talk of how weak Sweetie was, and that they couldn't allow such a stain on their family line to exist. She left everything behind, picked up Sweetie Belle, crossed the channel, and made her way into Equestria. She was young, still a child herself, when she made her way to Ponyville. There she was found by the apples. She spoke to Granny Smith. In fact, Granny Smith is the only pony that knows the full truth, except for her adoptive parents. Making a decision, Granny Smith met up with the daughter of an old friend. She admitted she asked a lot of the couple to take in the children, that they would face an awful fate should they try to return home. The pair, who had not given much thought to having children themselves, agreed, and while there were certainly some bumps along the way, at the point that the story of the alternate universe takes place, they are genuinely a happy family. Anyway, compared to my last redesign, I totally got rid of the purple and adjusted her tail. I went back and forth on jewelry, but decided against it. She is the tallest of the 3 shortest, the 4th smallest. However it counts, she's just above Rainbow Dash and just below Twilight in height. Her Cutie Mark story is pretty much the same. There's actually very little change in that. Fluttershy is a bat-pony Pegasus hybrid, whose parents are both aerial dancers. She and Rainbow Dash have actually been friends since they were babies. Attached to the hip, they did everything together. While her parents were excited to have her follow in their footsteps, they accepted that she was fairly against it. She does love flying with them and being taught. She just does not want to perform in front of 1,000 watching eyes. Following canon, it's pretty standard. When she fell to the ground during Rainbow's race, she found herself startled by this world. Pegasi, very fearful after the descent of Queen Celestia into Daybreaker, were very nervous to let their young travel to the ground on their own. She had been to Canterlot before, hundreds of times, but the busy city was very different from the open forest she found herself in. The creatures were wonderful, and she could talk to them. And then the sonic rainbow. This is when her new main colors appeared. In fact, this is when all of the main six's main colors appeared. Before that, Rarity's hair was just black, Pinkie's was just pink, and Fluttershy's was just pink as well. The rainbow itself specifically added these colors to their mains. As for why, I'll get into that in the next video. Because of her hybrid nature, she does better in the sun than most bat ponies do, although she does often find herself quite sleepy. Her bat-like wings actually have the pattern of her own design that you can partially see here. So that's why there's such a dark purple, dark pink on the outside. And while it may look like a coloring mistake, I promise that the yellow is not. It actually looks like the inside of her old wings. Pinkie was probably my least favorite to redesign, and I say it's only because of her mane. Her coat colors are pretty much the same. I struggled with what I wanted to convey, which was to make it look a bit like cupcake frosting, like kind of the shape, but I still wanted to keep her curliness to it. This is what I ended up with. I'm still not ecstatic with it. I'm not happy with it really, but I am happy about how her hair tinsel turned out. I was going back and forth on adding them because I didn't know if I could make it look like hair tinsel. I'm gonna say it looks like hair tinsel, and if you don't know, hair tinsel is this, and I figure if anybody would put anything sparkly in their hair, it would be, well, honestly, it would probably be Rarity, but it would also be Pinkie Pie, and the ribbons in her hair as well, the blue and yellow, are actually her super strength party streamers. Her backstory is largely unchanged from canon. The only thing that I will add is her parents are old friends with the Cakes and felt she would flourish better with the opportunities Ponyville would give her. They offered her to start with the occasional weekend and then summers in Ponyville, and when she was a teenager, she lived with the Cakes practically full-time, going back occasionally for a weekend or so. She does miss her family and visits them often, and can because she has alicorn blood in her. In this AU, the elements actually used to be alicorns, and the alicorn of laughter had a child before they lost their physical form. While she does not have the physical attributes, she does have a few of the magical qualities. This includes cloud walking, teleportation, low-grade telepathy. This is solely limited to her party planning and is connected to her cutie mark. She can only tell what a person is thinking in regards to parties, which is one way she throws them the perfect party. But a lot of it is still just using her gut instinct and skill. Pinkie sense. It's kind of like low-grade future sense. She's not exactly seeing into the future, rather she's sort of feeling the future. This is all I have for now, and if there's any specific questions about the main six I've designed so far, I'll answer them in my next video. But anything about the world itself will be held off until I make that video. And I'm just kind of excited to move on with it. But yeah, check out all my art pages, Instagram, Tumblr, DeviantArt, TikTok, all that stuff for the full pictures. I guess not TikTok, but links are down below. All the music that I've used as well is down below. And again, thank you so much for all the likes and subscribes. And this has been Novi Novi. Space out.